What's up? Welcome back. We are drafting another Superflex. This is the German Shepherd, still on Underdog, although I think it's going to close tonight or tomorrow, so I don't know how many more of these I'm going to get. I was trying to match this tournament. I think this is our 13th one. We are already into this. It's a Superflex, so, quarterbacks do their thing. We're going to get Daniels or Burrow. I think my preference is actually Burrow. I think I have Daniels and Burrow each once. Yeah, let's take Burrow here. Be happy to do it. If you watch me draft, you know I have a preference for taking multiple quarterbacks in the first two rounds in this format, and not even necessarily in this format, just in how these rooms go. So we'll be looking to hope to get, I don't know, what range is this? Is this we pray for a dart fall, or maybe we're picking up Purdy here? So all right, after we take Burrow, Daniels goes off the board. Interesting to see May go off the board ahead of Jackson. This is the second one I'm doing tonight, and in both instances, May's gone ahead of Jackson. May was up here too, so it's interesting. Chase and Nakua go off the board. Hurts, Williams, Herbert. So that next round of quarterbacks goes there. We're hoping that these players prioritize positional advantage, which sometimes they tend to do at the end of the board here, so we can get one of the quarterbacks. We won't get Prescott, but, I'm fine with Lawrence. I did take Mahomes, I think, in the last draft, so probably gonna pass on Mahomes here. Yeah, I don't love Mahomes. I like Dart and Purdy better. So Mahomes goes great. If Purdy goes, I think there's a pretty significant drop off to Bo Nix and Jared Goff. So I'm hoping Jackson Dart falls here. He does. I'm actually really happy to pick up Dart here. I'm pretty high on him this year. I think he's a great pairing with Burrow. He's kind of like Burrow 2.0, right? The swagger he has. Anyway, we'll look to maybe grab Neighbors if we can get a Neighbors to fall to us. Um, Neighbors would be like here, I think. Let's see Neighbors ADP in this. Malik Neighbors is going 61. And again, this is best ball, so you're not managing the team. So we need to make sure we get an even construction and draft deep. This is a 20-round draft instead of an 18-round draft. So the Purdy tier, Purdy Dart tier, I have Purdy and Dart kind of in the same tier. Goes here. I actually have all these guys ahead of Mahomes, but really happy to get Dart to fall. We get Jackson Taylor behind us. Drake made Goff. Robinson goes with Knicks. Gibbs goes with Stafford. Allen does, interestingly enough, in our last draft too. The Allen player did this where they take Allen off the board. They did Amon Ra here. That player went with James Cook. This player goes with Ashton Genty, but it's the same basic construction. Same basic construction. Gibbs player grabs Tyler Murray. And if Shug gets to us here, I will be taking Tyler Shug. In our last three stacks, we might have had Burrow, Mahomes, Love, I think. Shug does not get to us. I think the cat's out of the bag with him. Certainly. Do I want to take a Love or a Mayfield here? This is kind of what I did last time around. We still have Saquon Barkley, Omari, and Hampton. You know what? For science, let's go ahead and grab one of the running backs here. I'm going to grab Omari and Hampton, and I do not suspect a Love or a Mayfield or even a Darnold will make it back to us. Potentially a CJ Stroud does, and I'm totally fine with him. We can backstack him with Nico Collins. I'm totally fine with him as our 3. Don't want him as the number 2, but totally fine with him as a number 3. And we'll grab Hampton here, and we'll get some better running back value down here as well. So Darnold goes off the board. The Purdy and Mahomes player will have 2 shots to take their second quarterback. That's why there's just no way all these quarterbacks come back. Stroud might not as well. But again, I'm okay with Cam Ward or Daniel Jones as our QB3. Both have great backstack options with, Colonel Tate for Cam Ward. And then Jones has both Pierce and Downs later as well as Warren. So I'm kind of in for that. I like Likely also this year as the tight end for New York, so we'll look to stack him. Mayfield goes off, Willis goes off. It's interesting to see Willis go above Jordan Love. I guess this person is just very high on Willis, or with Hurts and T-Law are willing to swing on Lawrence. So the Herbert player gets gifted Love here at the 36, which is a great pickup for them when they start Herbert McCaffrey. So they balance out their approach and take a Henry here. I like this team at 12. Herbert, Love, McCaffrey, Henry, just very solid. The Williams Prescott Jefferson player now reps Achane. and I've done this in a couple of these drafts. When you pick up two quarterbacks like Williams and Prescott, I think the one specifically added Williams and Herbert. You say that's it. I'm just taking these two guys, and I'm either winning or losing this tournament with those two guys. This is best ball. The Hurts Lawrence Wills player then takes Bowers, so doesn't opt to go for running back there. So they may suffer starting their running back room at 58. We did this in one of our drafts, and we did get a Cam Skattebo to fall, but I think we were lucky to do so. Okay, so Stroud, Ward, and Jones are all going to be on the board. I don't think we're going to get these guys back. I don't have any CJ Stroud anywhere. I think, honestly, I've kind of been kind of low on him, but I think here we'll just take him. I'm happy to grab him as my third. What we get to do now is say we're done at QB. That's it. We're not taking any more QBs. It's clean. We don't have to sprinkle them in positionally later. Yeah, there was still some really good positional value. AJ Brown, Drake London. I'm not high on Lover or Hall. You guys know I'm not. And the reason I opt for Stroud there is I don't think we will, but we could get Nico Collins on the way back through. But if we don't, we'll probably get our pick of this range of running backs, which I like. Kyron, Javante, Jacobs, maybe an ETN. This ETN's already gone, huh? Where did ETN go? Okay, ETN went right before Stroud. Got it. But we have a really nice range of running backs there. And I've liked my construction best through 5 when I've done 3 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, or 2 quarterbacks and 3 running backs. Um, if we get Nico Collins, well, we don't get Nico Collins. He goes to the Pickens draft, which, interesting. Allen Gentine and Amon Ra, Pickens, and Collins. The reason I say interesting is in this format, you have a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, not 3, a super flex, a flex, and a tight end. So having 3 marquee running backs, this guy's basically saying, hey, one of these is going to go to my flex each week. So we're back on the clock. We're going to go Javante Williams here. I'm starting to reintegrate Josh Jacobs into my lineups, but I'm pretty high on Javante this year. Kind of have prioritized him in this range of running backs. So, Daniels and Darnold paired with Njigba gets ETN and Hall to shore up their backfield room after starting like this. Not bad. The Purdy player gets Chase, Lamb, Brown, and Williams, which is amazing, but they only have Brock Purdy. I'm guessing they're going to take a Mac Jones very, very late. I think Mac Jones is one of the only considerations for handcuffing in this format. And when I put handcuffing in quotations there, and kind of what I'm saying is like, this is best ball, so the handcuff concept isn't really a thing. You need to be swinging to the upside for your points. So playing it safe and grabbing guys that back up your guys typically is not a strategy you want to deploy into these drafts. But there are a few instances in Superflex where it could make sense. I think in my last draft, I snuck a late Fields, like a second to last round Fields in behind Mahomes. And if you want to get cheeky like that, you can. And what he could be doing here is, I mean, again, he's completely waiting, so he must know something we don't know. Maybe he's going to grab like a Deshaun Watson and a Mac Jones. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. All right, we're back on the board. There still is Zay Flowers and a Tat McMillan. We have 2 running backs. We're going to grab our third. I'm so overweight on Cam this year. I get him in literally every draft. I don't know why. I just do. Sometimes he's my first running back. Sometimes he's my third. But I just have him as the highest valued player in the middle of this round. Actually, up at the beginning of this round, and in a traditional draft in the 4th. I just have him at the highest rated. I have him rated higher than Flowers. I think Ibuka has a higher ceiling maybe for total points, but these running backs are really hard to come by. Like, he's kind of the end of a tier with Montgomery and Swift here. You might be able to say that Quinshon Judkins and Bashal Tutin and maybe Bucky Irving are slotted in there real close. But this is also why I don't have a ton of Garrett Wilson, and basically I don't have any Garrett Wilson. I don't really like Garrett Wilson anyway. I don't have any much Lad McConkey either, because I typically am grabbing the running backs in here because I think they're just such a great value. And with this type of construction, we can just smash on wide receiver for an extended period of time and feel super good about it. Now, I actually was just saying I have 0 exposure to Garrett Wilson, so if he drops here, maybe this is the team where we pick him up. For stacking options, we have Burrow, Dart, and Stroud, and we're not going to get any of their pieces, not any of their premium pieces. So we kind of have our pick here. So I could get Garrett Wilson here. I mean, again, I have 0 of him. I like JMO the best out of all these guys, but we'll go ahead and grab Garrett Wilson. I mean, I'm not going to fade him 100%. Uh, Tyler Warren I also like, but he's not a stat for us. So I feel pretty good about maybe kicking him around, and if he doesn't make it, that's fine. He's the one tight end of the Loveland Bowers McBride, and again, that tier either stops there and then Warren starts the next one, or some people sneak Warren into that tier. He's kind of that next tier break. Um, so I I'm okay with these guys at their price. Bowers, McBride, Loveland. Warren feels a little expensive at his ADP. I don't necessarily think that's a hot take, though. I see him falling, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. The Daniel Jones drafter, where are they? They'd be incentivized to take him. The Bonus Daniel Jones drafter got Robinson and Cook, Love and Montgomery and McConkey. That's interesting, but only has two quarterbacks. So yeah, they have an insane backfield and maybe a better starting asset than us, but our backfield is super strong as well, and our QB room is ridiculous. So, um, yeah. I guess when we took Cam, we were supposed to consider taking T. Higgins here with Burrow when we took Cam, but I'm pretty much taking my third running back there every time. Um, you know what? I don't have a ton of Warren this year. I didn't want to pay a price for him, but I will take him here, and then we'll look to take Likely and maybe just be done. Maybe we'll take Schultz later. Maybe. But I'm happy to take Warren there. The wide receivers weren't bad. Devontae Adams and Jordan Tyson are both completely reasonable. And I do like Devontae Adams fine. But we'll have our pick of like Metcalf, Pierce, or Lemon coming around the corner here. And I'm happy to take one of those guys, or even a Parker Washington. I don't have a ton of him. So we'll throw these. I mean, Marvin Harrison, he's another one that we can consider. I don't have a ton of them in my portfolio. Again, I tend to be taking if I got some more premium wide receivers, I tend to be taking those running backs again in that area with the Mendon guys, Dobbins, Brooks. But I'm cool with any of these guys. I don't think we'd pick up a Harold Fannin or a Laporta or a Pitts here. I think that would be a silly maneuver. But we can grab one of these guys on the way through and then one of these guys on the way out. Would be kind of the idea. And because we have a nice backfield core and we're kind of behind a receiver, I think I could see us double tapping receiver here. All right, the Allen player does opt to grab Brissett late. Um, and if they had prioritized McBride here, they could have that stack. I like that stack. I think it's sneaky. I think the Deshaun Watson, Casey Concepcion stack is sneaky as well. You can get that kind of here. So they opt. Okay, I see what they did here. After Allen, they just opted to grab Brissett, who is going to be a starter, whether he keeps the job or not. Maybe they'll grab him back late, but and then they grabbed all of Atlanta's backfield as Atlanta's QB room as well. All right, Pierce goes off the board. Harrison's off the board. Tyson, Washington, Metcalf. I don't have a ton of Washington. I'm kind of helping he falls here. I don't think by any means he's like the greatest wide receiver too. But when I go in a team, I take Wilson. I kind of want to grab Washington so I can not take these guys in future drafts. And also I don't want my portfolio to have zero of them. I'm actually higher on DK Metcalf, and I thought he was going to go, but I don't. Again, I don't think I have any Parker Washington, so we'll go ahead and click him in, and we're going to get one of these receivers on the turnaround as well. There's also quite a bit of quite a bit of good RB value here, I think. But when we start Wilson Washington, I want to grab another wide receiver. This is only two wide receivers, but I think it's important that we do so. So let's take a look at some of these other team constructions. The Hertz, Lawrence, Willis, Bowers player got Devontae Smith, Brian Thomas, Jacobs, and Warren. So that's a pretty good construction too. I don't love their backfield, but they got great receivers and a premium tight end. I love our backfield, but I'm not thrilled with our receivers. And our tight end isn't terrible, but again, at the very bottom of this tier or at the very top of the next. So Chase Lamb, Purdy, Brown, Williams, Ibuka, Waddle, DJ Moore, Stevenson. So again, this team only has Purdy now through 9 rounds. Pretty interesting. Williams, Prescott, Jefferson, Achan, Olave. Picks up a late Mendoza unstacked. Maybe we'll grab a Tucker later. Trade, yeah, trade Tucker, yeah. Burden and Metcalf, so they have some good receivers here. The Madoff Shud player, then grabbed AJ Brown and McBride. Got D Swift and Hubbard. Has Mike Evans. That's an interesting team. Tyson. Don't love their backfield. I mean, I like D Swift and Hubbard. I just don't think they have enough points there in their backfield. Um, yeah. Robinson, Cook, Love, Montgomery, McConkey, Adams, Harrison with D Jones and Bo Nix. I mean, yeah, they have a great backfield. It's insane. Bijan Robinson, James Cook is the dream, but Nix and D Jones are stuff. It's stuff. All right, we're up. Yeah, let's just grab Quentin Johnson. I mean, I like Gainwell here. I think he's great, but I think we want Johnson off of those guys. Um, And then on the 126, 139, let's take a look and see where Likely is. I tend to do this and just pin him so I make sure I remember. He's at 139. Okay. And we're going to be right there at ADP. So we won't pull Likely up, but hopefully we get him at ADP. And we'll look here at 126. Now that we've rounded out some receivers with some good upside, we can look at whatever values there. I'm happy to take either position. There'll be like Josh Downs, Jordan Mason, Jordan Addison maybe would fall. Um, Pittman's fine. Rodriguez is fine. Like, these guys are all fine. And then we'll grab Likely on the turnaround. And then we will rinse and repeat. We are going through receivers. We're probably only going to go two tight ends. If I miss Likely here, we'll go up to three. And so that leaves us open to go kind of 7-7 if we want in the middle. I feel fine with seven wide receivers in these formats because again, this is just a start two. And so when you have seven, you have five shots at someone eclipsing your main two, which on this team our main two are Wilson and Washington, which isn't great, but I just noticed we sniped the Geno Smith player, so they would have had Darnold, Smith and Jigba, Geno and McLaurin. Um, sorry, Geno and Wilson, but they ended up getting McLaurin for Daniels, which I think they would have probably wanted anyway. Um, I'm higher on McLaurin, obviously, than Wilson, but we opted to do that. Okay, so we'll take Aaron Jones. I'm cool with that, and then we'll get Likely on the turnaround, hopefully. Yeah, I like JMO better too. Put JMO up here for sure. Yeah, maybe we are supposed to just take McLaurin. I mean, he's in a much better offense. He's got a much better quarterback. I just again I now have one team with Wilson on it. That's it. Of all the teams I've drafted, of which I've drafted dozens at this point. Um, the endeavor on this channel is to post every single day, at least one draft every day until the season starts. Obviously, we won't be drafting fantasy football teams once the season starts. So the plan would probably be to do portfolio check-ins. I think there are plenty of resources on YouTube and live that you guys can get way better tier rankings than I would put up. I'll probably do some shorts on quick rankings and that sort of stuff just to week to week give you my waiver ads and that sort of stuff. But I think there's plenty of resources for that. I don't think I'm going to jump into that space. But if you like fantasy football and you also play Magic the Gathering, which I do very competitively, I'll be doing Vintage Cubes once this is down. And if you're familiar with Vintage Cube, I draft that on MTGO, and I'll be posting those videos, which is how this channel originally started like 8 years ago before I put it down for a while to do other things. So, okay, Likely did get sniped for us down here, and that's okay. I mean, it's not likely wouldn't have been like a make or break piece for our team. I think it would have just been a cool little stat to have it. If we really wanted it, we could have pulled him up, but I wasn't going to pull him up that far. So that's fine. That means we can evaluate the tight ends, or we can take a wide receiver. And given that there's Golden, Concepcion, and Dobbs back here, I think I want one of these guys. I think I'm going to take Golden actually. I'm okay continuing to just split running back wide receivers. We fill out our room, and then with Tyler Warren, I do like having a tight end and that is serviceable. And I think the last line of serviceable is kind of like this Aranda Gatson line as a second, but we're likely to go three. And I kind of do want to look at Schultz. He's at 170, so we could just completely wait and grab Schultz late. Maybe even pull him up a little bit. Have a stack with Stroud on that, and then just maybe go with two. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I don't know that it hurts us at this point in the draft to take a third tight end. I think we're probably fine too, so we can do that. But on the way back through here, I don't want Isaiah Pacheco. I don't have any Isaiah Pacheco, and I don't really want Isaiah Pacheco. Kind of getting higher on Jalen Coker as we get closer to the season. There is a Gatson here, but there's also Algier. I'm pretty high on him this year, so we'll grab one of these guys. See who's available. Whomever makes it to us. I do have a lot of Algier because I just really like him in this range. I suppose I should be mixing in some Tajay Spears, but um, yeah, there's a Dallas Goddard there, but um, Shakir goes. You know what? Let's grab Algier. I think he's just a pretty good fifth running back. And on the way back around, we'll grab. I mean, Jalen Coker probably won't be there, but we'll grab Omar Cooper. And Omar Cooper's probably fine. Then we have the Jets wide receivers, which not a good thing to say. We have not a lot of Hunter. We could grab him. Way overweighted Jonah Coleman. I need to slow down my roll on him. And at this point, then I'm back into liking the running back. So, and then Schultz is down here at 170. And where are we ADP wise? So we're going to be at 163, 174. So if we want Schultz, we have to pull him up. And honestly, I may be okay with that. Coker, Omar, Travis, these guys are all fine, but so is Jalen Naylor, Jalen McMillan, Denzel Boston, and we did just get Golden here. So right now our wide receiver room is Wilson, Washington, Quentin Johnson, Golden, and I know that's not like amazing, but we're gonna get seven of these guys. So do we want to pull up Schultz? I think we do actually. I think there Schultz is the type of guy who does stand a chance on a week to week basis to catch a touchdown and get you 50 yards. And in the weeks that he does that, then he maybe winds up in your flex occasionally. And I think you want your second tight end to have that upside if you can have it. And paired with the quarterback that we already have, it's one of the only way you get it. Only ways you get it from this range of tight end. So yeah, we'll reach up, we'll pull Schultz up, and then again, these receivers probably won't make it around, but I'm okay with any of them. We'll put McMillan up there. We'll put Boston, Juwan Jennings, Trey Tucker. Yeah, happy with that. And then honestly, if all these guys go, we're probably taking Sean Tucker coming back through there. I'm very high on him, and I have a ton of them because I think he's just an insane value down here. And then we can maybe look to grab Emmett Johnson on the turnaround if we get a receiver here. All right. Are there any other? Am I missing any other late stack options? Tank Dell, I suppose. Is Tank Dell still on Houston? He is. Okay, so Tank Dell, I suppose. Set him flat down at 211. Um, I had to think about that for a minute. And maybe Darnell Mooney, I guess. And maybe if we want to take a third tight end, we could jam Gesicki in the very last round, and maybe that's what we do, or one of the last rounds. That's what we do. Although I've been seeing Gesicki move up draft boards. It's kind of funny. It's like, uh, you really want it? I don't. Okay, so the Gibbs, Stafford, Murray, Young player, which I applaud them for grabbing their third quarterback there, having the discipline to do that. Then gives up on running back for a little while, gets London McMillan, which is pretty good. Then gets Irving and Dowdle, which I like with Gibbs. I think that's cool. Then gets Pierce. Then gets Pitts and Kittle, which I really like getting Pitts and Kittle back to back because then you can just be done there and then they're just continuing to draft out. So I like that team. I like that team. I think they found a way to get some good receiver value. Any teams I really dislike here? I think the Brock Purdy J.J. McCarthy team is going to hurt. Yes, they have Chase, Lamb, Brown, Williams, Ibuka, Waddle, Moore, Stevenson. Yeah, cool. You don't have any quarterbacks. And in this format, well, you can tell I prioritize them. I have them as really important pieces. So you just want that week to week to know that one of these guys is going to wind up in your QB spot and the other one's going in your super flex. And then you don't have to have as many of these pieces. Right? I don't know. Kind of my take. I don't think it's a hot take. Herbert Love went with McCaffrey, Henry, Loveland, Higgins, Williams, Watson, Corum. Gets Deshaun Watson late. Okay. All right. That range of wide receivers goes off the board. There's still McMillan, Jawan Jennings. I'm okay with either of those guys. I have too much Charbonnet this year, so I'm good on that. Okay. Grab Jawan Jennings. Totally fine. And then on the turnaround, we can grab maybe one of these guys if they fall. If they don't, kind of maybe want to grab another running back. Where are we at? 5. I'll probably need to do 7. So yeah, so we'll see. Tank Dell's 211. So where is that? That's way down here. We're fine. We should have tanked Dell right at value. That's cool. We won't pull him up. Yeah. All right. So Charbonnet off the board. Harris, Tucker. The Nakua player went Mahomes, Mayfield, Walker. So I like that. Rice, get Aaron Rodgers. So I like them grabbing their third QB there. So they've got Nakua and Rice. Rice paired with Mahomes. They Kenneth Walker to start the backfield. Then they picked up Basil Tootin and Tony Pollard. So I like what they did here actually. Then they get R.J. Harvey, so they're grabbing all these low end running backs, not low end running backs, but mid tier running backs to pair in with Walker. Then they grabbed Kraft and Kelsey. Kelsey again stacked with Mahomes. And then with Mayfield, did they get any back stats? They did not, but I like how they did this drafting Nakua. So they went QB, got their running back, and then just wound up with Mendoza, Rogers, Gino. Like they just, one of those guys. And then maybe like they'll grab a Jeremy Bernard. Yeah, they'll probably have a couple of late back stack options they can take. All right, we're up. I'm going to mix in Emmett Johnson this time around. I have a ton of Sean Tucker, and yeah. So we'll leave him on. He won't fall, but we'll leave him up there. Marshawn Lloyd, somebody I could be looking at to come back around. Probably won't, but we're going to go ahead and do him. Then we got Tank Dell. We know we're interested in him. Um, Seki. We really would be in good shape to take 2 tight ends with Warren Schultz. Let's look at bye weeks. 6, 8, 8. So we do have Stroud and Dart on week 8 overlap. But our running backs are really dispersed. Our wide receivers are pretty dispersed. So that's okay. And none of them have 8, which is cool. And then Warren and Schultz. Okay. Totally cool. Saseki is week 6. So yeah, he's a maybe. Maybe we'll take a look at him. Sean Tucker's still on the board. We're down to 193 here. And Sean Tucker's going off at 178, and he's still on the board. I mean, I don't think he makes it back to me, but that does bode well. So who are they taking? Who goes here? We get, after I take Emmett Johnson, Judy, Tesla, Hawkinson, Stribling, Branch, A.J. Barner, Kate Otten. Yeah, these are kind of the last bastion of the top of the bottom. These are the bottom, and this is the top of it. So Ferguson, I'm not going to pull Giuseppe up. I will absolutely grab Sean Tucker here. I was going to take him on the other side. So, and I have more of him than Singleton, but I think that's fine. And then Giuseppe, we could grab on the way around. If he comes around, cool. Um, we also have Tank Dell, so we can get Tank Dell or Giuseppe here. We're probably done at running back now with 7. We'll probably grab 7 wide receivers and maybe we'd grab a third tight end. If not, we'll go up to 8 wide receivers. And that's how we will do it. So then when we get back around again, I guess we'd grab Mooney. Um, None of these guys really have too much um, like ancillary interest for us, other than who do we believe in, and candidly we don't believe in any of them. We just take one of them because, well, fantasy football. All right. Deebo Samuel, who is rosterless right now, goes right after Tucker. Then we got Stowers, Bernard, Allen, Singleton, and Wicks. I like Wicks down here. I think this is a pretty decent value. Ooh, excuse me. How is it? Burrow, Dart, Stroud. Yeah, let's look at the team. We've got Burrow, Dart, and Stroud. Excellent quarterback room. Amari Hampton, Javonte Williams, Cam Skattebo, Aaron Jones, Tyler Algier, Emmett Johnson, and Sean Tucker. Great running back room. Garrett Wilson, Parker Washington, Quentin Johnson, Matthew Golden, Juwan Jennings. Uh, Pretty trash wide receiver room. And then Tyler Warren and Dalton Schultz. And if we don't take Warren here, we get a Devontae Adams, and we could put McLaurin above this. And how would we feel if McLaurin and Adams were on our team? A lot better. A lot better than I think Warren and Garrett Wilson. And here we could have pulled up. Well, I guess we did take Washington because we chose to over Metcalf, but we're almost back on. We are on the clock. I'm gonna take Tank Dell here. I think we need another wide receiver threat more than we need another tight end. And if we are gonna take a third tight end, we will just take literal whoever at the end. If Giuseppe falls back around, which he absolutely might, great. If not, I don't care. Like Tonnis, Mayer, Kohler, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference. But I think having the correlation, just maybe there's a week where this works and Dell comes to the table is a good idea. And then yeah, again, we'll just take whatever tight end. At 222, we should be able to get Darnell Mooney. If Jaceki falls, I'll snap him and then maybe get Mooney on the back. If not, don't care. Um, you know, Noel's down here. All right, Seki goes. So we get either one of these guys. It does. I don't care. Maybe we get them both. We would like. I think we do on a third tight end though, right? With Warren and Schultz. So let me go ahead and throw some tight ends of whatever value um, down there. Theo Johnson, yes. Connor. Okay, we'll take you know what? Let's take Noel. We'll just go deep on the. We'll have all the receiving threats except for uh, um, the main one, Nico Collins. But we'll just grab a bunch of Stroud back stats. So, and then we do have Dart, Skattebo. Um, so we got a little bit of correlation there, and then we've got uh, Stroud with Schultz and Tainto. Yeah, it's not bad. I like my stats to be a little stronger than that, but you can't have everything in Superflex. Not bad. Not bad. All right, and as it comes back around, we'll just insert whatever tight end we get that gets to us and kind of be done with it. I mean, is a Darnell Mooney more valuable than a third tight end here? Think you kind of want three? I don't love any of these guys though. Hmm. Don't love Darnell Mooney by week 17 either. So there's that. At that point, if this is a winning team, Malik Neighbors is back in the game for sure. All right, we'll take Michael Mayer. And that's the team. All right, appreciate you guys checking out the draft. Probably going to jump into another one here. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like and subscribe button or leaving a comment below. What do you think I did right? What do you think I did wrong? Got any hot takes on this board? It's pretty interesting. All right. Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot.